that peace of mind that just in case.
Insurance is something she had to do.
Right. It was right. So Amar Chris B'day Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Chris B'day says the name of Rabbi Yochanan Shara Niskal. Shehuz Moed of Shara Niskal that the Eidim became Zaymamin Kalamachzik by Zachabai. Becomes Hefker. The guy that owned it gave it up, became Asr Ba'ana. Now we find out that it's not Asr Ba'ana. So it's there left ownerless. Anyone can take it. Amar Rava, it's a gesund. Rava says, Mistaber time with the Rabbi Yochanan. It makes sense, this according to Rabbi Yochanan, this is what Rabbi Yochanan just said, going to Amrilei near Bashayrei. If they said nearby means that there was bestiality, that there was relations between his animal and another nearby, right? Nearby, a woman, or it was no.
Is a man on an animal, right?
No, but nearby shayrai means a passive to the animal. So it was a man lived with this. It was nearby is the passive, I think. That it was the animal was lived with by a man.
Yeah, it says it was the object of.
The object. Aval amru Rava Shayrai, who it's supposed to be, but if he, the guy himself, if they tell him he lived with his animal, Ba'atzmai, then made the idea delay Rava. He obviously knows that he didn't do it. Like mafkele, and he's not mafke this, even though they say, even though in court the animal is going to be put to death, but he knows the whole thing isn't true. He's going to somehow find witnesses. So even though there was a psak over here, but he's not mafkir the animal. What's the difference between this and what Rish Lakish says? Rabba Bar Isi says the name of Rish Lakish. Irni Dachas Shizmo Eideh. By Irni Dachas. Irni Dachas is a city that majority of the city worshipped idols. And then Edom come and say the Edom that testified that this city worshipped idols, they weren't even there. They were with us in somewhere else. So Kalamachzik Bazachaba. Anyone, because of what the psak on this was already, it was Eir Nidachas, anyone can come take from the city, it's already Hefker.
Even if it was Uzma.
No, that's why. Because it was Uzma. So originally it was all Asr Bahana. The psak was that it's all Asr Bahana. So everyone is like, they lost all of their possessions and this, and the people that committed it, they're going to get killed. Then witnesses come and say, no, it's not.
Shouldn't the people be able to keep their stuff?
So because the psak on it was already that it was lost, now it becomes like ownerless. Now the problem here is that these people, these individuals, they themselves never worshipped idols. Because there's Eidim Zaymamin. They're perfectly innocent. So a minute ago we said that it's only if the person himself is not involved in the whole story that we say that yes, it could be Hefker. But over here, these are the people that own the property, and they're the one that it's being testified about that they served idols. We find out witnesses come that but that the whole testimony is false. So why is it Hefker? They could have thought that maybe we'll be able to get out of this. Right. Gemara says, "Yerni dachas terabim nenu." But yerni dachas is different. You have a whole community. You have a whole city. Kol chadamar b'daitei. Each one says, I know it wasn't me, but achrina chata. I'm after mine, but it's because of the others that I'm going to lose everything.
And mafkir mamayna.
And he's mafkir it because he knows himself he didn't, but I don't know what everyone else was doing. I wasn't there. Aval hacha de Italia milsa, but over here it's only his own.
So because of that, even though it was zaymim, and therefore there's no irani dachas, but he is already.
He was concerned that everyone else must have done it,
and therefore he mafkir.
And he's mafkir his money because the rule is that in irani dachas the money gets lost even though he doesn't get killed if he didn't worship, but the money of the whole city gets lost. So, but here, b'didei talia milsa over here with his animal, it's only him. So who Batzer made the other delay Rava? He knows he didn't do this sin. And then he would go and bring Edom. Okay, we have a good distinction. between an er nidachas and the animal that's being put to death. Amar Rish Lakish. Is this Rish Lakish? What's the aleph here? Rish Lakish says, Hanaisin matana lachaverai. Rish Lakish says, if someone gives a gift to his friend, Amar Hala, and the other one says, Yef Shiba. It's impossible for me. I don't want it. So kolamachzik v'zachaba. Anyone can come and take it. It's very strange because the person only gave it to him for him to take it, and now all of a sudden it's okay. The Gemara asks, Maishna the Adamar. It's not, can't be Rabba Bar Avu. It's Rabba Bar Evu or something. Rabba Bar Evu. Amar Rav Sheshas. Rabba Bar Evu says the name of Rav Sheshas. Rabba Bar Avu is Rav Nachman's father-in-law. Rav Nachman is over here. Rabba Bar Avua. Here we have a Rabba Bar Avua saying the name of Rav Sheshas doesn't make sense. So, because he's before, so it must be, this is a Rabba Bar Eva, which we don't have on this chart, saying in the name of Rav Sheshas. But Amrila Amar Rabavo, and you have to take out Amar Rav Sheshas, because Rabavo is up here. Rabavo is here. Just take out the Amar Rav Sheshas there. Rabavo is here. So it says like this, and here's our problem. This is our question. Mekabel matana shama leyacher, someone that's receiving, someone that's receiving a gift that he says, lacher shabas matana liyadeh, after it already comes into his hand, matana zu tibatel, this gift should be nullified. Or mivutelas, or it's nullified. Or ef shiba, or I can't have it. Now, Rashi's girsa is, Lo Yamar Klum. He didn't say anything. Not Tvar of Kayaman. It's exactly the opposite. But let's say he says B'teilahi, it's nullified. Eina Matana, or it's not a gift. Then Dvar of Kayam, and then his words take effect. From the EF Shiba, Rashi says that there's really no contradiction. The contradiction here is from the end of it. It says B'teilahi, or Eina Matana, Dvar of Kayamin. There's an assumption here that when he's saying that I don't want it, I don't want this gift, it goes back to the owner. Rish Lakish says that anyone can take it. From Rabavo or Rabba Bar Eva and Rav Sheshas, it sounds like it goes back to the original owner. So my love, Dvarim Kayam, and is it not when it says Dvarim Kayam, the Hajjal Amari, that it goes back to the owner? The Gemara says Loi Dvarim Kayam and V'unami like Kanila, V'chalamachzik Bazacha. But no, it's not what it means. It doesn't mean it goes back to the owner. It means that anyone can take it. Meisvei. Gemara has a question. If someone tells his friend, Dinu Dvarim mainly al Sadazu, I have nothing to do with this field. Ainli Yesikba. He's telling his friend, who's his partner in this field, I have no dealings with this. Biyadi Misalekas Umena. My hands are removed from this field. Lo Yamar Klum. He doesn't say anything. The problem here is V'yadi Misalekas Umena. When he says my hands are removed from this, that's ki efshidami. That's like saying I don't want this. Now, Rish Lakish said if someone gets a gift and he says I don't want this gift, so anyone can take it. And here it says layamar klum, uktani layamar klum. Here it means nothing. They're partners. It sounds like he's giving it to him, and it sounds like he's just saying, "You take my portion. I'm removed from this or whatever."
They're partners. They both own the whole thing.
They both own the whole thing, but one partner tells the other one, "I'm out of here."
So not somebody can take the whole thing. No,
so,
the guy also.
So according to Rish Lakish, someone could take the whole thing.
But what happened to the other person?
Someone could take that half. That guy could take it. The partner could take it.
So they both own the portion, or they both own the field together?
That's a very deep question.
If they own it together, then...
That's a deep question. How does partnership work? I don't know. That's a very deep question.
It's on the original articles of partnership.
Yeah, but it's more than that.
But so in this time, it's obviously working where they both have their own portion.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He's asking, but partners, does partners mean
Actually,
that there's half an ownership on over the whole thing, or is there ownership of half? But that's a very deep question.
Also, when someone goes to give a gift,
and the recipient doesn't want it. It's still in the hands of the giver. Now, if the recipient takes it because it's being, but doesn't want it and just leaves it, then I would think
Then
it'd be
it's
open
right.
for someone to take.
Right. I should have
Again,
clarified.
it comes back down to the.
You're right.
to the
It's still in
intent.
his hands. Let's say
So
over
there's
here.
really no,
Let's explain
what's
this.
the case?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Let's
Where is-
explain
where
this.
is
That we're not
If someone
dealing.
doesn't want
we're
a
not
gift,
dealing
I'm
with an
giving
object.
them, it's still mine. I would
Granted.
think.
We're not dealing with an object. We're dealing with the property. So there's really nothing in his hands. So he's just giving a property gift, and so whoever's going to grab that, whoever's going to go on it and set up a fence or put a thing in, it's going to be his.
Could you repeat your question of partnership?
Yeah, he's asking how partnership works. If there's partners, do the partners own half? Each one owns full ownership of half. Where is the half? Maybe there's a line down the middle. Maybe there's a line down each atom of this thing. How to do that? Or there's another way, is that there's no full ownership of either one. Partnership means that there's half ownership of the whole thing.
What's interesting, I know where our lawyer he's there, but joint tenants in its entirety, quote unquote, when husband and wife typically will
Right.
join their assets, that partnership is done the second way, so that if someone was to sue one of the spouses, the other spouse could say, that's my half. So there's never defined who has which half. How are we doing that?
So that would be the first way, though.
No,
That
separate.
there's full
That's
ownership,
the
full ownership of half,
but it's not defined.
and you can always claim
My
that.
client,
that's-
just a disclaimer, my client is not giving legal advice to anybody.
No, I was asking.
He's messing it up.
There's a mission in the Dharam, I forget where someone says, I'm not going to have any benefit from this person. The question is if he's allowed to go into a field of partnership and say, I'm going into the other guy's property. Or do we say that the whole property is owned by both? You can't say I'm going into the other party's portion. Okay, so the problem over here is he's claiming that I don't want to have anything to do with this field, and it's considered nothing. It should be that it should either go to the partner or anyone could take that half. So the Gemara says, Shani Hassam, over here it's different. The Omar, Ki salak nafshei midinu dvarim migufa desadali salak nafshei. He didn't say that I'm leaving the field. He says I don't want to have anything to do with this in a way of, I'm not debating this. This field is mine and no one can debate this. We're reading into it more than what he meant. He meant to say that this is so mine that I'm not even dealing with this. This is not even a question. Meisvei.
Didn't you say that? And he said one of the partners wanted to give to the other one. He just.
That's what it sounded like. It's
Just because it was quiet. Like, maybe he was happy. So he was going to talk to him.
hold on to that. Hold on to that.
Or was it that just your words, or was that the Gemara's words? That he was just quiet.
Let me read the next piece. Just there's another question. The third one is very hard.
Don't dream.
If someone writes his possessions, he's on his deathbed. He writes his possession over to someone else. And amongst these possessions are slaves. The other fellow says, I don't want them. If this guy, the recipient, is a kohen, the
slave.
The slaves can eat truma, because slaves of a kohen can eat truma. So here,
the sick one is the Kohen.
no,
Or the
Rabbi
recipient.
Shani, the recipient. So here, this is what's a little confusing, because Rashi over here says that the Gemara in Chulin says that we're talking about that the person that's receiving this is quiet, and then he screams later that I don't want it, but originally he was quiet. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Omer Kivan Shamar EFC Behem Kvar Zacha Bem Yarshim. Says once the guy says no, once the guy says I don't want it, so then it goes back to the original owners, inheritors. Bishleim Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, we understand that position. Why does he give it? He has intention for the person to receive it. If the person doesn't receive it, he'll take it back. If he doesn't want it, so he takes it back. You can imagine, you go over to someone and you give him a gift, I don't know, a bottle of wine. And it's in shul, you say, oh, thank you for the Shabbos, whatever, here's a bottle of wine. I says, no, I don't drink wine. He says, oh, okay, so you take it. So someone standing over there says, oh, you don't, okay, so I'll take it. It's like, well, what do you have to do with this? Right. So what do you have to do? You're not involved. But here it sounds like, it's the guy says he doesn't want it, it becomes, but what you were saying, what's your first name? Norman? Nachman. So what Nachman was saying, if it's in his hands, that's a different story. It's in his hands, so you can't just like take that out. But let's say it wasn't in, it was on the table or something.
Like if you left the wine bottle by his door.
Left it there, right.
I never took them, it's not mine.
Right.
It stays with the original owner.
So we understand what's going on. So Kila Mekabla Minei Hajjalamari, it goes back to the owner. El Tanakama I Kiyamar Yafshibem, but according to the Tanakama, if he says I don't want it, Kolamachsibem Zachabem, anyone could take it. Hacha over here. The problem, according to the Tanakama, is the first opinion that said that if the second person is, even though he's saying he doesn't want it, but he gets it anyway. I'm sorry. If he says he doesn't want it, so then he's not getting it. And according to the Tanakama, how is he feeding these slaves truma? They're not kayanim, and they're not slaves of they're not slaves of kayanim. The kayan didn't want it. So kasavar hamafkar abdi yatzalacheres. It says,
Could a girl eat truma? A girl,
yeah. So we're saying like this, that it's as if he's receiving it, but he's being, but he's emancipating. He's freeing the slave. So what we're doing is like this: Hamafkar abdi yatzalacheres. V'tzarich get shecher mirabay, but he needs a document. So because you're waiting for the documentation, this opinion holds that while you're waiting for the documentation, you're allowed to eat truma. So yes, he's not receiving it and it's going free, but we hold that until the documentation is there, it's considered his servant enough to be able to eat truma. Okay. Rabbi Lezer Miyakriv. Rabbi Lezer says you bring it as a sacrifice, even though he knows that it's not necessary, because Rabbi Lezer has a different opinion. Rabbi Lezer lamali chata. Why does it have to be for a sin? Amar Rabbi Lezer Hashem Tali ben Adavasi. Rabbi Lezer holds that you can give it as a gift. Ditanan Rabbi Lezer misnadav adam Hashem Tali b'chol yom. We have a Mishnah. We're going to learn that hopefully today. That a person can bring a Hashem Tali every day. It's a gift. Amar Ravashi, Rabbi Lezer da Amrulai. It's not Rabbi Lezer's opinion. It's Rabbi Lezer da Amrulai. Rabbi Lezer da Amrulai is that Baba ben Buta. Here, Rabbi Lezer quotes that Baba ben Buta would have brought an Hashem Tali every day, even the day after Yom Kippur. But the sages told him the day after Yom Kippur, don't bring it because you didn't. There's no doubt of a sin over here. Wait for one day later when maybe there's a sin. So we're talking about that. There needs to be some sort of sin. It's not just a regular nedava. Wait until there's some sort of doubt. It doesn't need to be that maybe he ate chalev. Could be any sort of sin, but that would be this opinion. Okay, we said in the Mishnah that if it's after the sacrifice was slaughtered, he finds out that he never sinned. So then you pour out the blood, and the meat gets burnt. Katani abasi yetzel beis hashreifa. It says that the meat gets burnt. Al machulin shnishchadu bazar b'shreifa. It it's chulin that was shechted in the azara, that means you burn it. Veramini. But I'll ask you a contradiction. Asham vada yenikain. By the Asham vada, it says that it's different. Imaj nishchat yatzav yerbeider misha nishchat aresi cover. After it's slaughtered, you don't burn it, you bury it. Amar Rabbi Lazar Taver. Rabbi Lazar says this is not Rabbi Lazar that we were talking about. We were before there was a Rabbi Lazar. That's Rabbi Lazar Agadol, the student of Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. This is Rabbi Lazar, the student of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Lazar, he says Tavra. You have to divide this Mishnah in half. Misha shanazu le shanazu. There's different opinions. One opinion says chulin shenishchatu bazara, a mundane animal that's not in the that's sacrificed in the courtyard of the temple is burnt. Another opinion is a mundane animal that's sacrificed in the courtyard is buried. Amar Rabba. Is this really Rabba?
Where would it be buried? Anywhere?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we learned before there's a difference between buried things and burnt things regarding the ashes. Amar Rabba. Rabba says, Asham Vadai, Alasham Tali Karamis. You just asked the contradiction here. He said, one sacrifice, an Asham Tali, that's brought for a doubt, after it's shechted, you find out that you don't need it, because you find out that you didn't do the sin. So we say, okay, it's chulin that was slaughtered in the azara, and it gets burnt. Then you ask the contradiction. An asham vadai, a definite sacrifice that you find out that you didn't do the sin. It's shechted, and you find out after it was shechted, you say it gets buried. Asham vadai, kivan delay tzarech lei makdish lei. Of the asham vadai is an absolute mistake. But Hashem telling that was an actual sacrifice. You consecrated it because you wanted an atonement just in case. Elei Kasha, if you're going to ask this question, you have to ask it differently. In other words, you have a question, you just asked it wrong. So Hashem Vadei al Hashem Vadei Kasha. We have a contradiction in Hashem Vadei. Ktani Arezi Yikaver. First it says that if after it's shechted, you bury it. But on Asham Vadai, if after the blood is sprinkled, we say the blood that Yetzel Beis Asreifa. Nizra Kadam. So now on an Asham Vadai itself, you have a contradiction. That's a real question. And over there we'll say that you have to break the Mishnah apart, that the Mishnah is a combination of different opinions that don't actually agree with each other. Ravashi says, you can skip the brackets. It says, after it's sprinkled, the mechzik is evach pasal. Over there we actually have an answer. Over there it looks like a sacrifice. The blood was sprinkled. We don't want anyone to think that a sacrifice that's not valid gets buried. A sacrifice is not valid, is burnt. Okay. Nizra kadama basi yochel. Once the blood is sprinkled, you can eat the flesh. Famai ha'havi le'yediyah. But he knows that it wasn't a sacrifice. Amar Rava, Amar Krav, hula yadav v'neslachlai. At the time of the sprinkling of the blood, he did not know, so it's a real sacrifice. It's only found out later. That doesn't matter. This sacrifice was valid at the time of the atonement. Rabbi Yossi says that even if the blood wasn't sprinkled, it's as if it's sprinkled, and you go ahead and you continue to sprinkle it. Why is this? Rabbi Yossi, why do you go ahead and sprinkle the blood? He knows that he doesn't need to bring the sacrifice. He found out that the whole consecration was all a mistake. The shechita was a mistake. The blood is there in the cup. Why does he go ahead and sprinkle it? He knows at the time of the atonement that he doesn't need it. Amar Rava, Rabbi Yossi Savla Reb Shimon. Rabbi Yossi holds like Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon has this opinion. We've had this a bunch of times. Anything that has potential, that has the ability to be sprinkled, then it's as if it's already been sprinkled. And so therefore, right at the moment that the blood was caught in the cup, it's already considered as if it was sprinkled, and therefore it's as if the atonement was done, and he only finds out later. Maybe it's only something that's oimid lizarik, but this is really not oimid lizarik, because this we know has this thing was all a mistake. In reality, there's potential here. Yes, there's potential. But in reality, it's all a mistake. It's the whole thing doesn't exist. There's a special validity that's given to this once it goes into the vessel. Once it goes into the vessel, it takes on this status that it's as if it's kosher.
Eretz Yisrael, they say?
This is what they say in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, now we say, the Gemara says, Asham Vade, by a definite Asham, which we're going to learn what it's brought for, but we don't say the same thing. We say that even the rabbis would hold that there is no consecration for doubt, and if it's consecrated by mistake, it goes out free, and the whole thing was considered a mistake. Itmar was taught a statement of Amirayim. Egla Arufa, Emasai Neseres. When is an Egla Arufa? When does it become Asr Ba'nai? We have this calf. Someone died was murdered in between cities, and we have this calf the neck is going to be broken. At what point does this calf become prohibited? I think I know the answer already, but it's not so clear. Rav Hamnuna Amar Mechayim. Rav Hamnuna says even while it's alive. See, it's not so clear. Rabba Amar Lachar Arifa. Rabba says it's only after the neck is broken. That's what I was thinking the whole time, but Rav Hamnuna has a different opinion. Bishleima l'Rabba, we have to adjust it. Each time it says Rabba, we have to adjust it to Rabba. Rav Hamnuna...
Yeah, where is he?
Rav Hamnuna was brought to Rav Chizda, and Rabba was a friend of Rav Chizda. Rava was younger than that, so Machlekes Rav Hamnuna would go with Rabba. Rabba and Rav Chizda were the same generation. So, I understand Rabba's opinion. The action was done, so that's when it becomes prohibited. El Rav Hamnuna me'emasai. When while it's alive? At what point? While it's alive, there's give me a line, a demarcation in time that it becomes prohibited. Rabbi Yanai says, I don't know which Rabbi Yanai it is. It can't be the Rabbi Yanai from Eretz Yisrael that was earlier. He says, Gavul Shemati Ba. I've heard the boundary here, the Shachachti, but I forgot what it is.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling.
Just had to feel like you had to speak up.
It's like the appendix, right? I knew what it was. I knew what its purpose is. I just forgot. The Nazbin Chavraya Lemeimar, but the Chavraya, they understood to say Yeridas Lenachales and Isarta, that bringing it down to the valley, to that valley, that's what makes it prohibited. Amar Rav Hamnuna. Rav Hamnuna is going to prove his opinion. Mina Aminallah. How do I know this? That it's asur even while it's alive. The Tanana was taught in a Mishnah, Hashaykhet Paras Chatas V'Shar Niskal Vegla Rufa, Reb Shimon Paiter V'Chacham Mechayven. Here we're dealing with Oisev Espenai. You can't shecht a mother and child and offspring in the same day, two animals. You can't. You have to wait a day to slaughter the parent and let's say someone slaughters an animal that's not meant to be slaughtered. It's an invalid slaughtering. It's a egla rufa, shara niskal, paraduma. You weren't supposed to slaughter these, and the slaughterings are not going to make it permissible to be eaten. So Reb Shimon says it's not a good slaughtering. It's not considered oisiv espinai. You can go ahead and slaughter the child or the parent. It's not considered a slaughtering. The Chum say no. It is considered a slaughtering. You know, an egla rufa is not supposed to be slaughtered. Egla rufa is the neck is broken. So, Bishleim Alididi, Rav Hamnuna says like this: Damina Mechayim, that I say that the negla roof is already prohibited. V'haplig Reb Shimon v'Rabbanan. I'll explain this Mishnah. I have an explanation for this Mishnah. How are you going to explain this Mishnah? It says like this: The Reb Shimon savar shchita she'eina roya leishmei shchita. Reb Shimon holds it's a shchita she'eina roya. It's a shchita that's not good. Why? Because it was already asur. Even before the Arifa, even while it's alive, it was asur. The Rabbanan say that it is a shchita, even though it was asur while it's alive. Rav Hamnuna says, you see, while it's alive, it's asur, even before the neck is broken. And the machlekes here is if you can do shchita on something that's asur. But if you say that it only becomes aser after the neck is broken, why does Reb Shimon say that you can shech the child or the mother in the same day? It was a good shchita. It was still a kosher animal. Maybe Reb Shimon holds that if you do shchita on an egla arufa, that's considered the arifa. You're supposed to break the neck from the back. Instead he shechted it, but that's considered the arifa. And what Reb Shimon's saying is that shchita was the arifa. But Tanan, you can't say that because it says kosher bepara pasal begla arufa. What you're allowed to do to the para aduma, you can't do to an egla arufa. Pasal bepara, what you're not allowed to do to the para, which is the arifa, kosher begla arufa. That's kosher for the egla arufa. Para b'shchita kshera ba'arifa psula. A para yishach, and the arifa you're not allowed to shech. Egla ba'arifa kshera b'shchita psula. And the egla you break the neck, and and you can't shecht it. Yishtik. Rabba is quiet. See, he's quiet. Rabba was quiet. Rav Hamnuna had a proof. Labasa denafik, after he left, Amar, my time alay aminala. Why didn't I tell him this? The Reb Shimon Savar Egla B'Shchita Kshera, that the Reb Shimon really holds that, you see, you quoted to me a Mishnah, but that's not the opinion of Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon holds that the Egla Rufa, if you shecht it, it's also kosher. Rav Hamnuna Malach, what would Rav Hamnuna respond to that? We didn't hear from any Tana that says this. And you're going to say that Reb Shimon holds this? You're making up a new opinion and you're attributing